So as we're waiting, okay, the YouTube link is up. So I will be sharing that. And as we're waiting, I'm going to start downloading some of the, at least one project that was sent to me by Alina. And hope Alina's online with us as well now. Okay, Bismillah. It's going to share the link and then we should be able to start very soon. Okay, so Bismillah. So welcome to everyone who's joining us now. Jazakallah for joining in, and especially those students who have prepared some form of presentations. I am very looking forward to them today because that means I have a little break from preparing all these sessions, and I can just see what our students have prepared, and then slowly, what I'll do is I will step back, and then our students will start taking our Islamic Studies lessons, inshallah. So you better be good today. Okay, so as we're waiting, as we usually do at the start of our sessions to allow people to come in, I'm going to download one of the presentations that has come to me from here. Yes, I'm trying to sort that out now as we go ahead. So Alina and Habib, I have your presentation. I'm trying to download it. It's taking a bit of time. Don't worry, we'll get there. We will get there, inshallah, so don't worry. Okay, in the meantime, let's have a look at what's happening. So on the chat, Assalamu alaikum Ustad, Assalamu alaikum Fiza and Ibrahim, Assalamu alaikum Juria, Assalamu alaikum to Safiya Mariam Ahmed. Do we need to send you? No, you don't need to send me anything. You can do it directly yourself. So I will, so when you're ready, when everyone comes in, I will then give you access as a panelist, and then we'll open up your camera. You can then share your screen, etc., and you can do your presentation like that. Is that okay? Yes, that's right. So if students have PowerPoint, share your screen, you can go through that and talk through it. I'm quite excited, actually. I want to see what students have been up to. And if we finish very soon, very quick, then we'll do a bit of an archery session, inshallah. Okay, so I've got my stuff ready for that as well. Oh, that's very nice. Good question. Safiya Mariam Ahmed, how are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. I had quite a few symptoms like a cough and all that, and very bad throat, and couldn't breathe about 2 weeks ago. But that slowly has kind of disappeared, alhamdulillah. Still there, but dry cough, but alhamdulillah, everything's good. Alhamdulillah. How are you? How are you? Do let me know in the chat how everyone is feeling now. Okay. So what we will do, we will make a start. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah for that, Safiya, and also Ibrahim and Fiza. So what we will do, we will make a start now, and we will then start with the project. So what we're going to do first, I think, should we start with, so first of all, in the chat, could you mention if you have a project to share? Okay, so mention that first, say, yes, I have a project, and write down your name. You've got to do that. Yeah, so number one, write down your name and say, yes, I have a project. That way I can then start sorting that out. Okay. So alhamdulillah, I've downloaded Alina's one and Ibrahim's, Alina and Habib's one. Okay, so what we'll do, we will wait for, I don't know if Alina and Habib are there, but we'll wait until they come online and then we'll share theirs. Safia doesn't, that's fine, but you're more than welcome to just have a look and even ask questions to the ones who've done their presentations. And then we have Juwaria as well. Okay, so I think let's start with Fiza and Ibrahim. If you want to start, oh yeah, so Alina is going to be joining us from YouTube, so she's on YouTube already, that's cool. So Fiza and Ibrahim, do you want to go first? Right, and what I will do now, I will promote you to panelists. So you're going to come back in like that. And I will also promote Juwaria as a panelist because she's got something to share as well. Promote to panelist. And then once we've done that, at the end, we will have Alina's and Habib's one as well. So Fiza and Ibrahim, you can start enabling your mics. And Juwaria can do that as well. And also your camera if you like.
My mum's on. That's my mum's one. Can you enable this one?
Okay. Right. So Fiza and Ibrahim, the first thing I would like you to do once you get your camera ready and also once you have your mics on as well, if you can tell us first of all, what is the project? As in, so what project did I set you and what are you going to be doing? And then you can get on with your project. So first of all, tell me what project did I set last week and what you will be doing. So you can turn your camera. Would you like to turn your camera on or you're just
yes, please, Ustad.
Okay. Doing that now. Okay, there we go.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Me and my brother did a project on the Black Death via the historian Ibn Battuta, and that was mainly because Ibrahim is in the class Ibn Battuta.
I like that.
So I'm gonna share my screen now.
Okay.
Okay, so assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Salam.
We have done a presentation on the Black Death. So I'm gonna go.
Me and my brother.
Me and my brother have.
Don't forget your brother. Okay.
Let's see. So first we're going to touch what was the Black Death. So the Black Death, or it was called the bubonic plague, was an illness spread by the fleas on mice, and it was believed to be a punishment from Allah. And as you can see in the pictures, your the top of your hand would have gone black, and basically it would have all gone red, and it wasn't a nice thing. And over 25,000 Muslims died due to this plague, and we've obviously uploaded a picture of it. And yeah, so the historian we're looking at today is
we're looking at Ibn Battuta. So he lived from 1304 to 1369. He comes from Morocco. He's an explorer and scholar.
So Ibrahim, could you tell me what scholar means? What is a scholar?
I don't really know, Ustad.
Sorry?
I don't really know.
Oh, interesting. So you've got to think about it. So what's an explorer? What do explorers do? You probably heard of Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
Right. So what does Dora the Explorer do?
She explores jungles.
Okay. So what does she goes to places, goes to different landscapes. She goes on different adventures, I'm guessing. And so does Ibn Battuta. So he's very similar to Dora the Explorer, but the difference is Ibn Battuta was real, right? I don't think Dora the Explorer is real, right? And scholar, for those of our young listeners, it basically means someone who is, for example, an imam or an alim, or they've studied lots and lots in a madrasa or a university or somewhere. That's a scholar, and they've studied deeply, and they've become now leaders of different communities as well. Okay, carry on.
He traveled the furthest distance in his time as an explorer, almost circling the earth 3 times, covering 117,000 kilometers, whilst he was just taking his trip to Hajj.
Well done, Ibrahim. By saying that very long number, I think you put Priti Patel to shame. So well done for that. Okay, carry on.
So his early life,
Yeah.
well, he left for Hajj when he was 21 on June 1325 from his journey to Mecca from Tangiers, Morocco, which was his hometown. He traveled on a camel because the humps on the camel can store fat. They have long eyelashes to keep out sand, and they have slit-like nostrils to again protect them from the sand, and they use the stars to help guide him on the right track. Ibn Battuta had a pledge of never using the same road twice, so he could explore during his rihla, which was another word for journey.
Oh, fantastic. I was going to ask you what rihla meant.
Yeah, it was journey.
Well done.
He passed many sites such as Alexandrina, which was 2,200 miles, which took him 34 weeks to get there, where he saw the lighthouse, and Cairo. He went to Cairo in Egypt, where he saw the pyramids of Giza, which were one of the 7 wonders.
Which Giza? Oh, that was, sorry, that was a dad joke. Do carry on.
Okay. However,
or a ustad joke.
Okay. However, on his first attempt to make his rihla to Hajj, he was back by bandits, and he spent his whole Ramadan in Damascus, which was in Syria. And after Ibn Battuta had spent his Ramadan there, he traveled 810 miles south to Medina, then Mecca, and finally he was able to perform his Hajj. Now, normally, as most of you know, once you've completed your Hajj, you'll go back to your family. However, Ibn Battuta stayed there for 29 years before returning back, because he wanted to travel, he wanted to explore. In total, he passed 44 countries, and he traveled as far as his hometown. He traveled as far as his hometown in Tangiers, in Morocco, all the way to, okay, I don't know how to say this, Quanzhou in China. Oh,
that's good enough.
What just happened? Oh, sorry. In China, and he met kings and queens, princes and princesses from all over the world.
Returning home, when he arrived, he realized it was not the same from when he left it. A terrible disease had come upon, known as bubonic plague. Plague or the Black Death. No matter where he tried to overrun it, but everywhere he came across already been by this terrible
Plague.
Ibn Battuta saw from him truly not know the danger of staying together. And Muslims barefoot held their Qurans in their hands and walked through the sea seeking forgiveness. The city joined, and the Jews book of law and the Christians of.
What that means is what happened
Fizza and
is
Ibrahim.
they were seeking forgiveness because
Fizza,
they hate.
Fizza,
Yeah.
your sound is bouncing a bit. So maybe you might want to adjust
Oh.
your mic or something like that. But everything else is good other than that. It's just the technical thing.
Is it? Oh. Okay. I
Just
think
try
the
again. Just
internet's a bit.
oh, it's okay now. So do carry on. It's okay now.
Is it okay now?
Yep,
Okay.
it's okay.
So what that means is they were so heartbroken from this disease because they were losing many loved ones and everything was just happening at that time. And obviously because they didn't know yeah, he said it's better. And because obviously they didn't know the dangers of staying together, because at that time they didn't have the knowledge to know that okay, if we stay together we'll spread it, make it even worse. And so what they did is together they joined to ask Allah, and obviously for the Christians, they're like their lords, like to hold their book in their hand to ask for forgiveness from whatever they've done wrong, because as I said earlier, people thought it was a punishment, so they are asking forgiveness, and it was horrible. And yeah, so that was it. And also when Ibn Battuta came back from his travels, he started a new life with a wife, and he did live, but all of this stuff that he was seeing, it wasn't easy, I can tell you that now.
Right.
So
Uh,
Jazakallah khairan for listening.
Can we have a round of a virtual mashallah, please? Mashallah. Okay. Right. If you can unshare now, so we can go back to normal. Okay. So, all right. So who's next? Juaria, are you ready to share your screen? Okay, off you go. That was brilliant, mashallah. Well done. Really, really impressed. You got so many details down, and especially you chose Ibn Battuta, who is also, one of our classes are named after him. And not only that, there is a crater on the moon that is also named after Ibn Battuta. And there's so many more things. I would definitely recommend watching there's actually 3 documentaries, really, really good documentaries. There's a professor who's done his PhD on Ibn Battuta, and he follows the footsteps of Ibn Battuta, and he travels all the world where Ibn Battuta went, try and goes to those tribes where Ibn Battuta went. What I will try and do, inshallah, those of you who want that, contact me. That way I will know how many people are interested in this. And there's also like a movie documentary about Ibn Battuta's journey to Hajj. So that's there. So well done, Fiza, and well done, Ibrahim. You both did very, very well, and you were both very, very confident. MashaAllah. Excellent.
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Juwaria, well done. Okay, Juwaria, are you ready?
I'm not really. I think we should do someone else.
Why? Show me. Okay, let me just try and help Juwaria with screen share. Okay. Screen. Where is your, and where is the word document? It's on the home screen. Yeah, are you sure? Let's see. Right. This one? Right, so there you go, Jury. And once that opens up, you can start your presentation. And I will turn my mic off, otherwise you'll hear an echo.
Okay. Okay. Ibn Battuta and the plague. Ibn Battuta had experienced the plague, and this is what Ibn Battuta said when he came back. Well, from his travels. These people fasted for 3 successive days. Then all the people ascended in the great mosque until it was filled to overflowing, and spent the whole night there in prayers. And after performing the dawn prayer, they all went out barefoot together, carrying
Carrying the Quran in their hands, the entire population of the city joined. The Jews went out with their books of the law and the Christians with the Gospels, all of them in tears, imploring the favors of God through his book and his prophets. As Ibn Battuta rolled through Syria, a terrible disease was descending upon his world. This was called the Black Death, or bubonic plague. He first tried to outrun it, but each city he reached was in the middle of a terrible outbreak. In Damascus, the death toll was 2,000 people. Death toll was 2,000 people a day. And that's it.
Okay, Jazakallah for that, Juwaria. Okay, right. So can we have a virtual round of a mashallah? And Juwaria did this, I think, about half an hour before the session. So well done for that, Jazakallah. Okay, so now we will quickly move on to our next bit. Oh, there's some points in the chat, so let's have a look. We have Safiya saying, love it. Now that was for Fizz Ibrahim's one, and mashallah. Virtual mashallah from Fizz Ibrahim. And Haris, mashallah. Zainab Yaqub, Ustada Zainab is saying mashallah, and Juwaria responding by saying Jazakallah, which she only responded to the panelists, but I'm just virtually saying it out there as well. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I have managed to download Alina and Habib's presentation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen, but this is presentation by Alina and Habib. Right, let's get this done. Let's get this sorted. If you can't hear it clearly, do let me know, but inshallah it should be fine. Right, Bismillah.
The Black Plague.
And Ibn Battuta.
Who was Ibn Battuta?
Ibn Battuta was born in 1304 and died in 1369. He was a Moroccan explorer. He is known for the account of his journeys called the Rihla. Rihla, literally meaning journey, is the classical Arabic term of a quest.
He traveled for nearly 30 years and covered most of the Islamic world. He also explored West Africa, Southern and Eastern Europe, South Asia, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, and China. Ibn Battuta's family. Ibn Battuta was born into a family of Islamic scholars in Tangier. His mother's name was Fatima. When Ibn Battuta was returning from a trip, he came home to finding out his mother had died from the Black Plague. Ibn Battuta's quote.
So here's a quote that I'm just going to leave here for you to read. Okay. The Black Death during Ibn Battuta's time.
During the time Ibn Battuta rode through Syria, a terrible plague struck the world. This plague was called the Black Death. He tried to escape it, however, each city he reached there was a terrible outbreak, the Black Plague.
The Black Plague was caused by Yersinia pestis bacteria, which lived in rodent populations. The plague transferred from animals to humans, and then it began to spread out. Another name for the Black Plague is bubonic plague. The plague caused headaches, painful spots, and delirium. It also caused victims to cough blood, and they were killed within hours. Where did Ibn Battuta witness the Black Death?
When Ibn Battuta returned from China by way of India and the Middle East, he encountered the first outbreak of the Black Death in 1348. Surviving the plague, he made another pilgrimage to Mecca and then reached his hometown in 1349. How did Ibn Battuta impact the world?
Ibn Battuta contributed to the movement of Islam and preserved the influences that Islam had on the globe. His writings can be used as a window into the past for historians to see the world through his eyes as it was during this time period. Thank you for listening and watching.
From Habib
and Alina.
MashaAllah, I really enjoyed that. That's fantastic. Can we have a virtual MashaAllah? You know, and it's a good point that you mentioned at the end, I think, is where you said that historians, and not just historians, but anyone really who wants to get an idea of how it was like during the time of Ibn Battuta, or how it was like during the plague in the Muslim world in the 14th century, Ibn Battuta is just one of those historians who can give us a bit of understanding of what the plague would have been like, and beside him, many other historians as well. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone. So starting with Fiza and Ibrahim. Okay, Jazak for your presentations. It was fantastic. And also for doing her presentation. And last but not can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yes, can you hear me now? Is it clear enough? Okay, Juria, if I can ask you to log out because you're going to be seeing this live. That way, because I think our internet, there's quite a lot of devices logged. I will log Juria out if that's okay. Okay, are you logged out? Okay, cool. Right, coming back to our chat. Can everyone hear me very clearly now? Hopefully, good. Right, okay, that's brilliant. Right, so our session is over because we were focusing on the presentations, and I didn't want to prepare a session. But what I did promise is, if we do finish in time, what we can do is have a quick archery session, hoping if this works. So if you would like that, do let me know. If you don't want that, that's good enough as well. We will have archery properly later on. So do let me know that as well. Okay, so Sophia is saying yes and yay. That sounds good. Checking my phone to see if it's connected. Yep, it's connected well. Zahra thinks it's a good idea. Okay, so I think people are ready for this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mute one of my cameras and then use the other one, which will have a better view in regards to doing archery. So, right, so this is for anyone who's with us on YouTube. We are going to be stopping our session. On Islamic Studies, but we will continue just a bit of archery, just talking about archery and also doing some demonstrations here for those who will be interested later on. Okay, something on the chat. Sophia said, "I thin." Could you elaborate on what you mean by that? That would be great. Okay, I'm just going to get ready for this now. So I'm going to mute one of my cameras. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me clearly enough from my other camera? I'm going to turn this around so you can see what's happening on this side. Can everyone see that clearly enough? And let's sort out this camera. Okay. Can you all hear me and see me Okay, so can you hear me and see me? Okay, cool. So Zahra said, yes, sir. And here it says we have 45 participants. Oh, sorry, that's 45 things on the chat. Let me get back into normal state. Okay, can everyone see me, or can you just see the target? Can everyone see me? Do you let me know if you can see me? Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this with me. So we are going to start. This is just to let you know regarding safety, right? So basically, what I have here is, it's a target, right? Just to show you safety-wise how thick it is, right? So let's have a look. So you can see how thick this target is. So there's no way these arrows are going to penetrate through. Now, if I do happen to miss, so if I do miss, and it goes up here, it will go into this target that I put up. Okay, again, this is quite thick as well. And if for some reason, right, if I'm not feeling so well and I totally miss and it goes there, if you look underneath, right, what I've got is you can see that straw, that's another target. So underneath this cloth is another target, but inshallah, I shouldn't miss, okay? So that's all the safety element of it. Just so that you're aware that anyone cannot just get any kind of target or any kind of cardboard, something like that, and start archery. You need the proper things out there. So let's start off first, right? So I did some shooting. So can you see me here? Can you see clearly enough, or is it not clear enough? Okay. Have a look. Just gonna have a look. Is the video still pausing on the archer? Is the video still pausing on the archer? Okay, still pausing. Okay, what I'll do, I'll switch back to the normal one, okay, and then we'll just work through that. All right. Okay, so can you hear me? This other one? Okay, and then we'll start our session straight away. Okay, you can see. Okay, cool. So let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, so I will get my bow. Right, so here are two bows, right? So here is, so today, just to let you know, we're not going to be doing Olympic archery. We're going to be doing Ottoman archery or horseback archery or Islamic archery, whatever you want to call it. So this is one of my bows. This is a practice bow, okay? And it's a very, very easy kind of bow. It's about, when you pull, it's only around like, I think 10 pounds of pull. So when you're pulling back, it's only 10 pounds, okay? I will talk about the boring stuff and then we'll do a bit of shooting just to let you know how it all works. So the reason why I'm talking about what we call the poundage, it's very important because when you start off, when you pull back, okay, you start off with a bow like this, okay? And it's very easy. Can you see I'm not struggling at all and I'm just pulling back like that, okay? And I'm pulling back to my kind of earlobe over here, all right? Now I want to let you know that Muslim archers or Ottoman archers, when they used to, they actually shot an arrow, their teachers used to not allow them to use an arrow until they did this around times, okay? They had to keep on doing this, okay? And they had to do this, in groups of 33. Now, who can tell me on the chat or even on, let me open up YouTube to see what's happening there. Why do you think they had to do this 33 times? So 1, 2, 3, 4, right, all the way back, 5. Why were they doing that? 33, take a little break and then start again. And they keep on doing that for thousands of times.
Was it for safety so that on the first time they wouldn't get it wrong?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. So they were actually practicing. That's one thing. Also, it's to do with muscle memory. So every time you do, so if you do that thousands of times, okay, what's going to happen is your muscles will, you know, capture this movement in their memory. So it'll become easier when you actually get the arrow. So that's good. Zahra just mentioned on here that the tasbih is 33 times. That is correct as well. Well done, Zahra. So they try to keep their archery in line with as much of you know, Islamic principles and ethics as possible. So well done. Why did you raise your hand? Who raised their hand? So if you can let me know if there's any room, what do you mean by raise your hand?
Zahra raised her hand. I wanted to know why.
Okay. Why did you raise your hand? Were you raising your bow virtually and then you raise your hand?
Ustad, I think she wants to be a panelist.
Okay, let me do that now. So Zahra, promote to panelist. Okay, Zahra. So Zahra's going to be re-entering. Anyone else want to be a panelist? Do let me know right now. So Zahra, if you can come on. Where's Zahra? Okay, Zahra's come back. Well done, Zahra. So Zahra, if you want to talk, then unmute yourself and you can talk.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a nice there. Yes, Zahra, do speak. Do speak. Go on, Zahra. Did you want to say something?
Well, I was going to say about the tasbih.
No, I've said that for you. Brilliant. That's good. That's a good answer. That's one of the correct answers. That we do that 33 times because it's similar to the tasbih as well. Okay. I will have one whole lesson, remember, just on archery and why Prophet ﷺ promoted it, etc. We'll do that next week, I think. But for now, let's just have a little fun with this. So archers used to do this, all right, just aiming like this, practicing with a lighter bow like this one. Now, normally you keep your bows like this. Okay, this is an unstrung bow. Can you see the difference in the shape? Right? Yeah, can you see the difference here? Right, this is when the bow is strung, ready to shoot. This is an unstrung bow. Why do you think the bow normally needs to stay unstrung? And can you see, I've got this thing here that keeps the string in place. So the string at the moment is right over here. Why do you think we need to keep our bow unstrung? Okay, anyone? Yes, Juaria. So Juaria is here with me. Do you want to come on the camera? So why do we need to keep the bow unstrung?
So like, if you're like going, like for example, you're like going abroad, and then someone comes in and like play with it, and they try fire and stuff. Okay, should I take a seat, Juaria? So Juaria said, if you want to take your bow abroad, that could be a answer, but it's not the answer. The answer is, because if you keep your bow like this all the time, strung, then what's going to happen is that it will kind of become loose and loose and loose, and it won't be as powerful as it should be. Now, what I'm going to show you very quickly, do not try this at home, okay, is how to string your bow. Okay, so Jerry, move back, please, just in case it does loosen out. So can you see here, I'm going to get my bow ready so that it's ready to shoot. So can you see that's the string? I need to take off the string holder here from here. Hopefully everyone can see. So take it off from here, and I will put this down. Okay, and then one of the ways, so there's hundreds of ways of doing this. So one of the ways is you put your leg through. Can you see? I'm gonna, Bismillah, let's hope this works. Can you see? This is a proper bow. It's very, very lethal, and it's very, very heavy. Bismillah, and then slowly it goes into place. Okay, and now if you can see, this bow is ready to shoot. Now, just to give you a brief idea of the difference in the poundage. So remember, poundage is basically how easy it is to kind of move this up and down. Yeah, can you see that? This is like the training bow, and children can use this. Well, look how easy it is to move the string up and down. Now, this one here is a real Ottoman bow. To move that up and down, I have to do that. I have to really, really push up, okay? And if you notice, I'm doing it with my thumb, okay? And that's because when it comes to Islamic archery, you don't do it like the Olympic archers or
as though you're doing an English longbow when you're using 3 fingers like that, okay? Islamic archery is going to be with your thumb, and you pull back. For that, we have something called a thumb ring, or what the Ottomans used to call a zigir, okay? So what Ottoman archers do, can you see Juria running off in the back? What Ottoman archers used to do, they used to have a kind of string, and they used to keep their ring on the string, and then they should put it around their necks. This is what I started doing now. So this is your part of the archers, right? The Ottoman archers. So what you do, so I'm going to take this off the string. I'm going to give you a bit of a show. Now this thumb ring is really interesting. I really like this because what you can do with it is you've got to put it on in a way that it locks onto your thumb and no one can take it off, okay? Yes, Juria. Yeah, come in. Okay, so it goes on like this, right? Can everyone see? I think everyone can see clearly. There's something on the chat. Let me see what that is. Okay, all right, cool. Let's move on. Right, so here it is. It goes in. Once it's on, okay, you twist it sideways. Yeah. Now that I've twisted it, it's locked. No one can take this off. The only way you can take this off is if you take my bone off with it. Yeah, so can you see? I'm going to pull. So let's have a volunteer. Juria, come here, please. Try and pull this off, but don't pull off my thumb. Yeah, can you see that? Can you pull it off, Juria? Try more. Harder, harder. All right, harder. Okay. Yeah, try your hardest. Okay, okay, and stop. Okay, now if you move back there, Jazakallah Juria. So this does not come off. This is really, really interesting, okay? So if I twist it back, right, like sideways, then anyone can take it off. It's as simple as that. Okay, isn't that cool? So this is a zigir, and you need to get one made. Safiya, you raised your hand. Let's see. So Safiya, do you want to be a panelist as well? Do you let me know? Safiya Mariam, would you like to be? Sorry?
Ustad,
Yes.
in the summer, if you're shooting, would you have to have like a special one? If you get sweaty, you might like.
Yeah, so you need 2 rings. So you need one for the winter and you need one for the summer. And that's because when your body temperature rises, the thumb kind of expands. So I remember about a month ago when I was actually training at my archery club, I don't know what happened to my body. I don't think I was so well, but my thumb kind of expanded. And then what happened was I put this on, right? It was really difficult to put on, but once I got it on, I couldn't get it off. So my coach had to take me to the kitchen, and we had to pour lots and lots and lots of water on it. So it couldn't come off even, the way it normally comes off. So I had to put lots and lots of water on it. And once it became really cold, then we were able to kind of pull it off. And it was and my, blood circulation had stopped as well. So that's why you need 2 sizes. You need a size slightly smaller, slightly bigger, so they could fit in both temperatures. Okay, so that's a good point. Well done for that.
Ustad, wouldn't just
Yes.
putting butter on be easier because it would slip the ring off?
Or oil.
But you see, we were at an archery club. We weren't at what's his name? What's that cook's name? No, not Gordon Ramsay. Jamie Oliver. We weren't at his kitchen, so we didn't have the butter and any spices that you find in his kitchen. So that's why we had to use cold water. And then as soon as it kind of went down a bit, then we were able to take it out. Yep. Any other questions on that so far? Any other questions? Let's have a look at YouTube. Let's see what's happening on YouTube. Oh, there's lots going on YouTube. Sorry about that. Let's have a look. It's mostly Go Alina and Habib from Ustada Zahida. Alina and Habib saying Jazakallah. Lots of sound has gone. Okay, I think we've sorted that out. Breaking up. I think we're back now anyway. Yay, archery. Riaz, yes. Lots of yeses, and so they can do it fast enough from Aisha. That's good. Zahida Ahmed said Juju. And do you have to make it fit your... Okay, good point. So do you have to make it so it fits your thumb? Yes, absolutely. You need to get one of these made, okay, for your own thumb. And there's lots and lots of types. You can get these made of horn. You can get this made of wood. I've got a wooden one, okay. These are made by special kind of craftsmen who know about archery. They know how it works. If you look closely, right, I'm just going to make mine bigger so I can see clearly enough. Ooh. Where am I? Okay, so if you can see, there's something on the chat. I'm coming back to the chat as well. I sent my presentation on WhatsApp. Oh, Dania. Okay, I will have a look, and then we will definitely show your presentation as well. Okay. Dania, could you let me know when you sent your presentation so I can have a look? It'll be easy for me to find it. So if you see, this is my ring, right? Okay, the reason why, who can tell me why is it kind of red over here? Here, sorry, here, red here, and then here. Okay, why do you think it might be red? Why?
Ustad, is it because that might be the harder parts, or so when you're obviously taking the arrow bit back, is that the harder parts that has been maybe the color scraped off a bit?
Okay, that's interesting. So when you're saying color scraped off, this is actually wood, so it doesn't have red onto it. Okay, so if you look here, this is the red part. Okay, or actually this bit here is the red part, and there's a reddish part here. Let me give you a clue, right? So if you look at my,
You use it so much.
yeah, but here's a clue. What color is the string from here?
Has the color gone onto the wood?
Yeah, so the color, because it passes by so aggressively, that what do you call it? It kind of comes onto the wood. Just to check what Dania is saying. Dania is saying that I sent my presentation on WhatsApp to Fatima Elizabeth group. Okay, so Ustada Zainab, inshallah, will be able to help out with that. So Ustada Zainab, if you can maybe send that my way, and before we finish off, we will show Dania's presentation, inshallah. So Jerry, if you can step back, just in case the thing misses. Now, one important thing, let's move on. Just by way of safety, right? We're not going to do much more today, just by safety. So for instance, when you pull, I'm going to move back now so you can see more of what I'm doing. Okay. So for instance, right here, right? When you pull back, okay, you should never, ever, ever, so I'm going to say this again, you should never, ever dry fire, right? You should never, ever dry fire a bow. Who can tell me what they think dry fire might mean? So put that in the chat.
I think it might mean. Hello?
Yep.
I think it might mean like shoot it without an arrow.
Very good. Very, very good. Dry fire means when you shoot a bow without an arrow here. Okay, so you can't just pull back and release. I'm not going to release because it's going to hurt me. Right? Potentially even throw the bow forward. Okay, and it can also damage the bow as well. So many things happening. So remember, it might hurt you, right? It will go forward and hit someone. That's why I asked Yuria to move out of the way. And it could also break the bow as well, depending on how the bow is.
Did it break your bone?
No, it will bruise you significantly.
Oh.
Right. Okay. So that's what dry fire is. So I'm going to say that one more time in terms of safety. Never ever dry fire. So that is never ever pull the string back and let go. Yeah. Unless you have an arrow knocked up here. Okay. So that's key. That is absolutely key. Right. And let's move on to just taking the. So another safety thing is how to take out arrows from the target. So I'm going to move this around so you can see the target here. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way you take out arrows from the target is, I'm just going to sit down next to this. Everyone see clearly enough? So the way you do it is you hold one arrow, okay? But you hold it as near as possible. So I'm going to show you how this looks. So this was some of my shooting yesterday. So it's pretty cool. I think I got all of the arrows on this very small target that I put up on the bigger target. And they were very consistent. Some of the shots were very consistent here. So if you look, they were right next to each other, some of them, okay? And if you notice, these brown ones, their kind of angle is slightly different to these the whiter ones. And that was because I shot both of them with two different bows. One with a very strong bow, like a 36-pounder bow, and the other one was with a 10-pounder bow, okay? So that's that. Who wants to, someone said they want to talk. Yeah, so Sophia, yeah, you can talk. So let me enable your mic and also your camera. So now you're like a co-host. So was it Sophia who asked for that?
Can you enable my camera? If it's fine.
Who's that? Is that Sophia?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can share your, oh, there you are. I can see you now. Let me just make your video spotlight video. Go on, Sophia, go for it. What do you want to say? Oh, wait, you're muted at the moment. 1 second. Can you unmute? So you see that little red camera, red mic button? If you can unmute that. Have you got that? Yeah, go for it, Sophia. I can. Maybe you want to bring your mic down like this. Do you want to try and bring it down so it's closer to your mouth? And Zahra, I've made you co-host as well, so you can open up your video whenever you like. So go for it, Sophia. What do you want to say?
I just wanted to say, what is our next topic that we're going to do?
That's a fantastic question.
Archery.
What would you want our next topic to be? Do you want it to be on side reflection, and you're telling us via a practical example of it?
Are we going to do archery?
Oh, do you want me to do the next session on archery?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what we'll do next Wednesday, we will do a session on archery. How do you feel about that?
You make a PowerPoint.
Okay.
Do you want me to make a PowerPoint on it?
Should we make a PowerPoint?
On archery? You know what? That could... Oh, actually, let's do this. Let me do a session on archery next week, okay? And then at the end of that, I will set you a project to do on archery. How does that sound? Yep. So Jazakallah for that, Sophia. I will, inshallah, next week do that and get that done. Okay, I'm trying to download Dania's presentation. I'm just checking if it works. So I'm just having a look now. Bear with me, everyone else. If anyone has any questions in the meantime, please do let me know. Do speak to me about that.
But do you know where I am?
So Dania, I can't, there's something wrong here. I'm unable to download the presentation for some reason. Trying to do that. It doesn't allow me to, it does save it, but it doesn't allow me to open it. So what we might have to do is I might have to check up why that's the case. And don't worry, what that means is in our next session, your presentation can be first. But if you have your presentation on your laptop, you can actually share it directly as Fiza and Ibrahim did. You can share it directly from your laptop. Would you like me to enable that so you can share screen, etc.? Do let me know on the comments, Dania, so we can sort that out for you. Okay. Okay, right. So coming back to a very quick look at YouTube. So they can, yeah, do you have to make it fit for your thumb? I've answered that. Hamu is Aisha. So sorry, Aisha. Yep, that's correct. They burnt it. No, they didn't burn it. They kind of chiseled around it. And that's how we got to that stage. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Right, let me come back to my video. Where's my video spotlight? Okay, so some nice background pictures coming. Fiz's head and face is disappearing into the background. Nice picture there's of the Kaaba in the background. And nice picture there, Sophia, of your bed in the background. Well done. Okay, so let's move on, and I will finish after that. Any questions so far? about this? Any questions? Oh yeah, so I was going to show you how to take out the arrows, right? So the way we take out arrows is with one hand, you hold the target. So remember, one hand, you hold the target, and the other hand, as close as possible to the target, you pull back. And when you're pulling back, you shouldn't be looking at the arrows, you need to be looking back. So who can answer these two questions? Why do we need to hold the target? And why do we need to look back as we are pulling out the arrows?
We need to look back so that if like we're looking towards it, it could, if we pull it too hard, it could come in our eyes.
No, but if my face is here, right, and I'm pulling it back like that, it's not going to come in my eyes.
You have to support the thing.
But if I'm here, why don't I look at my arrow if I'm here, and why do I have to look back?
Ustad,
Yes.
do you have to hold the thing because it might like tip over or something?
Yes. Simple as that. So watch this. If I do this, what's happening now?
It's tipping up.
Can you see that? It's a bit scary, isn't it? My quiver there as well, and I've got my. Can you see my Olympic bow over there? So it will all fall over, and that's not going to be good, would it? Okay. So that's one reason why. That's the reason why we hold it. Why do we have to look back? And this is very, very important. Very important.
See me.
Sorry?
Is it if someone's behind you, then
Yeah, go on, carry on. Who's speaking?
sorry, it was me. If
Who is
it's,
me?
it's Fizza.
Yeah, go on, Fizza. If someone is behind you. Yeah?
Behind you could hurt them.
Very, very good. That is the answer. So just say, remember, put yourself in a situation where you're at the archery club and there's 3-4 people who shot at the same target and we're all gathered around. Because sometimes in a lot of archery places, each one of these targets, there's up to 4 people who shoot at a target like this. So even when we have archery in our madrasa, when we get back, inshallah, at the moment, I've got around 4 of these targets, okay? So there will be, on each target face, you can have up to 4 people shooting. Okay, so you can have 2 people at the same time. Once they've had their go, then the next 2 people at the same time. Okay, so now if all 4 of us come at the end to collect the arrows, and there's someone standing right behind, and if I don't look and I go like this from the back is very, very sharp. It's still very sharp. It's not, maybe it's not as sharp as the front, but from the back it's still very sharp. Okay, and if you don't look back and you hit someone in the eye, that's the end of their eyes. Okay, so hand on the thing, and I'm going to start pulling back. That's 1. Put this here. Can you see now I'm holding it in my finger like this and pulling out the others. So again, looking back, pulling, looking back, pulling back, looking back. Can you see the things moving at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this, and this, this, and this. And you see that. So that is our target face there.
I have a question.
Yes.
How many, like, if you have ever broken arrow, how many broken arrows do you have?
I have a lot of broken arrows. Can you see these arrows up there behind me?
Yeah.
These are broken arrows. So that's why I've just kept them as decoration now. Can you see?
Oh.
Can you see that it broke from there?
Yeah.
Here's another one. That's also broken. Can you see? Compared to one of these ones, for instance. That has the actual thing there. Yeah. This one has the tips broken. They got stuck in the target face at my club. So they usually don't break here, but they break over there because we do lots of shooting at different distances. So they do get stuck. So yeah, you can just keep them as decorations over here. I'll put this back in. Any other questions on that? Whoops. Any questions? So here's this is what we call a quiver. Okay. This is one I made. Okay. So all I got was this wood, which I got for free because they were throwing them out in B&Q. I got one of these things, screwed them on, taped around it, put red tape to make it look good. And this was actually a water pipe. And that's all I needed to create this quiver to then put all my arrows in when I'm shooting, right? So we've got lots and lots and lots of these made for our madrasa, ready to go when we do get back, inshallah. And let me just use one of my arrows here. Right, so if you have a look, can you see this? That is my Ottoman quiver. And in there are 3 arrows that are actual war arrows. So they're tips. Let me take one out to show you. Okay. The tip on these ones are very different than the practice arrow. So this is a practice arrow, right? But it's still dangerous enough. Can you see that? Now my war arrow, it looks very different. So I like the feathers on my war arrow. So this is my practice arrow feathers. Can you see that? This is my war arrow. Right, can you see that? Isn't that cool? And then the tips are different as well. So here's the practice one. Is that clear enough? Yeah, is that clear? And here's the war arrow. Isn't that interesting? So it's much more sharper, able to penetrate, at least for hunting as well. But obviously we're not allowed to do that in this country. So I actually got these for decoration. So they always stay inside my quiver right here. So I won't be using them anytime soon, okay? Unless I have to go hunting. But we don't need to do that since Tesco is still open. Or actually, my local halal meat shop is still open. Okay, any other questions?
Not a question, but I have a mini bow.
You have a, okay, let's look at your mini bow. Okay, let me make that spotlight video. All right, can everyone see that now? Can everyone see Zahra? Can everyone see Zahra's video? That's cool. So did you make that yourself?
Yes.
I remember you showed me that in madrasa, didn't you?
Yes, I think I did.
And you did it as part of your Prophet's project?
Yeah.
That's cool, yeah, I like that.
I made a different one too, but I don't know what it is.
Cool. Let's see. Oh, fantastic. Maybe you need to tighten the string a bit more for the arrow flight to be a bit more straight.
Yeah.
That was just a joke. Don't worry. It's because it's not a real bow. So what I'll do now, shall I do some shooting and show you how it works? Yeah. Does that sound good? So I'm going to do some shooting. Now I'm going to use my Islamic bow. And you'll be able to, so from one of my cameras, you'll be able to see me, and one of them, you'll be able to see me shooting. So actually, let me just shoot with one of them. And that's going to be this one here. Let me position it somewhere where you'll be able to see me clearly enough. Can you see me from here?
Yes.
Clear? All right, okay, let me just move this here, turn this light off. Higher. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. So as you're watching, I've got my bow. I'm just collecting my bow from here. Right. 1 second. Actually, can you see me better now? Yeah, do let me know if one of you can let me know. Can you see me better with this?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to move my thing back again. Okay, so
Yeah.
can you see me now? Is everything clear?
Ustad, something's echoing.
Okay, just bear with me for a second.
Nice.
No, you can't come in, Barak. I'm about to shoot an arrow. Right, has the echoing gone?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I hope everyone can see me from here. Right, so I'm now looking at the target. I will show you next lesson on how I'll be shooting. Okay, so you've always got to warm up. Okay, I'm just going to shoot these arrows, and we are going to stop out. Can someone give me a shout out? Maybe on the other camera, you might be able to see the actual shooting going on. Okay, right, so let's have a look at the results. Right, so can you see that here? So kind of like all of them on the target. Okay, this one was my very first shot. I've released it too early, and that's why you can see that it had an impact right there. Right, can everyone see that clearly enough? Any questions? Any questions? Right, any questions from anyone? Okay, there's something coming up. Right, was that clear enough? So yeah, so that's some of the shots I just took now. Right. So can you see that's without aiming? So there was no aiming involved. It was just, when we say aiming, I'm talking about in comparison to the kind of aiming you do in Olympic archery. And that's something that we'll talk about another day as the difference between the two. So yeah, so that was some Islamic archery. Any questions about that? Any feedback on how everyone feels about some of these shots right there? And can you see that all the, you know, especially the ones below, they're all in the same kind of length, right? And what's more important than getting the yellow is to have consistency. So you need to bunch up your arrows, okay? So can you see this bunching up? That is key. And that's what you need to get, you need to work towards, okay? More important than hitting the yellow. It's all about consistency. So archery is all about consistency. It's a bit like the tajweed, okay? It's not about getting your, your sabak right once or sometimes. It's about getting it right and reading the same every time. Similarly, in what do you call it, archery, it's about getting that consistency. Okay. One thing I want to very quickly show you. I do have a bow and get my bow. Okay, so I'll show you on my training bow. All right. Oh, someone said no. What was that no for, and what was the yes for?
Somebody's saying that it's muted, but it isn't muted from my side.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Can everyone hear me? And see me as well? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so can you see right here? You know what? Let me move back to the normal camera. Can you see me from this different angle now? Is this a better angle? Yeah, is this okay? So if you can, I don't know which camera is working for me, but whichever one do have a look. Okay, so now can you see I'm bringing this closer? Can you see my thumb? Yeah, the way it works is, can you see my thumb ring on over here? So what happens is ultimately, so can you see this little very small amount of space here on the ring? That's where the thumb ring. Oops, the co-host stopped my video. So let me go back to another one. All right, can everyone see me from this one? Okay, so what happens is, right, so what happens is, if you look, there's that little amount of space right there. So that's for where the ring actually goes, all right? And what happens is you kind of rest the ring there, and then this finger covers the thumb very gently, and then you close your wrist and you pull back. Yeah, you pull back. What I am now finding comfortable, and this is after like 3 months of doing archery, I'm finding more comfortable using my middle finger. So putting my middle finger here, and then the shahada finger goes on top of the thumb. So 2 fingers on the thumb, and then pulling back. Okay, I'm finding that more easier, and I'm finding that I'm getting my consistency right as well. Okay, so like this. Okay, any question? Any question? Anyone? Okay, so should we make this the end of our presentation archery lesson? But what we will do for our next bit, it's going to be we're going to start off with Danny's presentation. Inshallah, we'll get that sorted out. Okay, just looking on YouTube now for any questions. Aren't you meant to have a pouch thingy for your arrows when shooting? Yep, that pouch thingy, Aisha, is this. It's called a quiver. Okay, so that is supposed to stay on me, but that's normally if I'm on a horse. Or if I'm shooting at a club and I want to wear that, I can do that. Otherwise, the floor quiver is the quiver that we generally tend to use. Okay, so that's that. Let's look on YouTube for some more questions. What are you wearing on your shoulder? Okay, so actually, I'm actually missing one bit, which I couldn't really find somewhere in the living room here. I'm supposed to be actually wearing something on my left arm, just in case when I do release the arrow, that the string doesn't hit my arm. Okay, so it has hit my arm a few times and I've had really big bruises there. But now that slowly I get better and better, it doesn't happen. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing is, this is what you're wearing on your shoulder. So here, this is basically, again, if I'm shooting and something goes wrong, the string can also hit me on my chest right here. Okay, so that's why if you look at Olympic archers, they also wear some of these as well. So, and especially, I normally tend to wear it if I have clothes which are very baggy. And if you have baggy clothing, right, it could come in the way. So can you see this bit coming out like that, right? It could kind of get caught up in that, yeah? And that would impact the flight of the arrow. That's why if you put this on, if you wear this, okay, what happens then, let me come back to spotlight video. So, yeah, so when you wear this, it kind of protects it and it keeps all the clothes back as well. Okay, so that's what this is, right? Chest guard. Any other question? Any other question? So
it's not really a question, but you know, last week you set obviously optional homework to listen to a talk. I just want to say I found that really interesting. It was quite informational. It was really interesting.
Which talk was it? Was it the Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad talk?
Yeah, it was.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that was brilliant. So please, guys, you know, if I am setting some of that homework, it's because I think it's really, really valuable. So well done, Fizza, for listening to that. If anyone else is wondering where you can gain access to that, well, you can gain access to that on, what do you call it? You can gain access to that on the PDFs and PowerPoints that we're putting up online. Yeah, and from that same page, which is the page where we have our online timetable. Any questions before we stop? I'm going to have one last look at YouTube. Thank you from Aisha. Barakallah. Can I have maybe some feedback from everyone on what they found most interesting in regards to maybe the presentations, and also maybe one thing that they found interesting in regards to the little bit of the free-flowing archery session that we had. So if we can leave on that note, I'm just going to wait around for a few minutes to get your details. So let us know what you found the most interesting. One thing you may have found interesting from any of the presentations, you don't have to name them, just one thing that you learned from the presentation, and maybe one thing that you learned from archery, but try not to repeat something that's already been said by someone else. So Riaz is saying you enjoyed the Atari. Okay. Sophia, you said the products. Okay. You like the projects, I've got that. And I'm guessing Riaz is saying the archery. Anything else? And I'm going to be looking on YouTube very quickly as well, see if anyone's given us any feedback, and we will be stopping after that. Anything else? Oh, by the way, those of you who are with us, I just wanted to mention that yesterday, so I liked the status you gave us, like in your archery club. Could you explain, Zahra, what you mean by that? Oh, the stories. Okay, cool. Anything else before we wrap up? So before we wrap up, if you can, so I did a talk yesterday for a mosque that's in Dewsbury, and I used to study near that mosque. I lived near that mosque for like 8 years in a boarding school where we had lots of fun. It was difficult as well, but we managed to get through that time. So so do try and listen to that talk. It's somewhere on our website or social media. It's about, and I did a bit of that in our Islamic Studies session, but I added a bit more detail in that lecture. Try and listen to that when it's quiet. It will give you a bit of an understanding of how Muslims went through the plague hundreds of years ago, like about 800 years ago. So do that as well. So, oh yeah, yesterday you did a podcast. That's right, I did that, Zahra. Fiza and Ibrahim are saying that you learned a lot about Ibn Battuta. Fantastic, that's great stuff. Okay, just going to look at YouTube and then stop there, inshallah. The archery demo was really good. Barakallahu feek. Inshallah, next lesson we will talk about archery. There is going to be a bit of theory, so I will talk about why archery is important, why as Muslims we should take interest in archery. And also, I want to talk about a very famous person who lived in Walthamstow. And I'm not going to tell you who he is because I want to find out if any of you students can find out who he is. He used to be the teacher of Queen Elizabeth I, not the current Queen Elizabeth, but Queen Elizabeth I, who was the daughter of King Henry VIII, and who used to come to Chingford to do some hunting. Now, this man, he was the teacher of Queen Elizabeth I, and not only that, he was an archer, and not only that, he wrote the very first book in English on archery. And guess where he lived? He lived in Walthamstow. To be more precise, he lived, does everyone know where the old dog stadium used to be, or where the dog stadium, the outer part, the dog stadium still is? He used to live in a manor opposite the dog stadium. And I think they're doing like archaeological digging there as well, or I think they've already done it. So let's see if you can maybe research the very first book written in English about archery and how it relates to the person who was the teacher of Queen Elizabeth I. And also, he was an archer and he wrote about archery. He lived in Walthamstow. So can you see everything that we're doing at FEP is somehow related to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but at the same time, we can link it back to our history in Walthamstow. Similar to cycling, the very first person who invented the modern safety bicycle, he was from Churchill. So again, Walthamstow as well. And the very first planes that were ever flown here in England, they were over Walthamstow wetlands. And one of the first cars that were ever invented was by Frederick Bremer, so the school that we hire out. And he just lived down the road from where I live. So I think those of us who are from Walthamstow or Waltham Forest have a lot to really, be happy about and proud about. And maybe when we do return to normality, inshallah, when we get back to the real world, maybe we can give to the world, we can make this place a better world. So who's ready to give something back to this world? Learning from and taking from the beautiful examples and principles of Prophet ﷺ and early Muslims and scientists and everyone else, and give back to the new world that we go to. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to do that as well. Okay, I think we will stop there. We have spoken for a very long time. I was hoping it would be a very short session, but I think it's enjoyable seeing everyone in action here. So well done, everyone. Well done, everyone who did the presentations, and you were very confident as well. Jazakallah for Alina, who couldn't make it onto Zoom today because her mum wasn't home, but she still managed to send it via WhatsApp directly to me. And well done, Dania, for also doing the presentation. Inshallah, our next session will begin with your presentation. Okay, or I might even, what we'll do it this Friday, so I don't want to leave it too long. So this Friday, actually, we're going to have a guest speaker, so she's going to talk for about 20 minutes. Ustada Marzuqa, those of you who do your choir lesson, so Ustada Marzuqa will be talking to us about the importance of Ramadan. She'll talk to us about Ramadan. It's going to be a short reflection, and then maybe inshallah after that reflection or before, we will have Dania's presentation. Is everyone okay with that?
So Ustad,
Yes.
can we do like an optional presentation to show next week if you want?
Archery.
Yeah.
No, so what I'm saying is next week I will do a presentation first, and then after that, the following week we'll have presentations. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then that way you can learn a bit more about archery, and then the following week you'll have much more to talk about as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So should we stop it here, inshallah?
Yes.
Okay. Who doesn't want to stop this lesson? Okay, cool. We've got one hand up. That's cool. That sounds good. Okay, Jazakallah everyone. Jazakallah for joining us. Jazakallah for your time. And one last thing. Today, Ustad Adil's lesson again is being cancelled because Ustad Adil, who is a pharmacist, again, he has been asked to work overtime because of the coronavirus epidemic. So he is one of the key workers on the front line, working with people who are ill and require medication. So he's been asked again to work very long hours, and they have hours that we used to invite him in for. So make dua for Ustad Adil as well, because he's working very, very hard to help people. Okay. Dua, inshallah, also for those who have passed away. There's many of our friends. I was at a janazah today, and it was very sad because never we would ever think that we would attend janazas in the way that I attended today, where we had to keep at a certain distance. Not many people were allowed, and then and then we couldn't get too close to anyone. So I went on my bike, right? And when I got back, I had to change all my clothes, have a shower, and then come back into my living room, to try and make sure that from our end, we try our best, and then the rest is up to Allah. So there's two things, remember?
Sad, you're echoing again.
Someone unmuted my mic. So is it okay now?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah, so so as I was saying, there's two things. Number one, we try our best. We need to put in place everything we can from our side, okay? And then we leave the rest onto Allah. And then it's up to Allah how He wants destiny to be. Okay, so I'll stop there, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.